Welcome back. As you can see, this is another Dollar Bin Movies special. This time, it's The Devil's Machine. What has died lives again. The cover of this makes no sense. It has no connection to the actual film. It just looks cool. It's one of those attention grabbers. Though the back of the case does have a little bit more connection to the story. So we'll talk about what's back here. This doesn't happen. The whole cracked porcelain and all that stuff. That doesn't happen. But there is a doll, an automaton, etc., that looks like this. So they're just a little bit on point here. That man's in there. This shot is in there, I guess. That's not really there. There is a little bit of that. So, as a cover, we have an attention-grabbing cover. Makes you think, oh, this might be like some sort of sci-fi type show. The Devil's Machine. Is this like horror sci-fi type of film? No, it's not. It's not. And as you can see here, with the whole wig here, is this something like colonial era horror? Kind of, but not really. No. It's a mess. It's a mess in some places, and it's actually surprisingly good in others. In terms of film quality, whatever they rented, whatever they procured to film all this stuff, it looks good. At least on that level, it looks nice. The acting is it's solid. It's okay. The line delivery is kind of strange in some places, though. It can feel a little stiff in some places. It feels a little bit overactive in other places. And then there's some characters in their what do you call it? Their delivery, their portrayal. Some characters act strangely. And after watching the second half of the film, the first half is a little bit more explained, but it's still kind of strange all the same. So we open this film in the Americas, North America, during the colonial age. I believe just after the Revolutionary War, or during the Revolutionary... Actually, yeah, during the Revolutionary War. Something around there. We have some blue coats and we have some red coats. And there's a little bit of a skirmish between the red coats and the blue coats. The blue coats are carrying a crate. And one of the blue coats is acting a little bit strangely, saying she wants to be let out. She who? Is she in the crate? It's a bit too small to contain a person, but whatever. And then we have the red coats who show up and they're like blah 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 blah, and they attack the blue coats, and the blue coats and the red coats fight. They have a fight, and the red coats win. They kill all of them, and one of the blue coats turns on his comrades and kills the leader and all that other stuff. So the blue coat, the turncoat, blue coat guy, and a couple of the red coats who survived the skirmish take the crate and they walk off. Flash forward to present day, or I don't know what year it's specified. The car does look a little bit modern, I guess. Flash forward to whatever the film says is its present day, and we have a middle-aged gentleman and his stepdaughter. They really emphasize that very strongly, that he is the stepfather and she is the stepdaughter, whereas the stepdaughter's mother, we don't know. She's not shown. She may have passed away in the background, off screen or something, who knows. But the stepfather is taking care of the stepdaughter. And let me flip this around to see if she's on here. Doesn't look like it. Surprising. No, neither the stepfather, or the stepdaughter appears at all on the back of this case. And they're clearly not here either. Are they? Let me double check just in case. No. No, those are just mirror issues. The two main leads aren't on this case at all. Surprisingly, you'd think that they'd put them on here, but they're not here. I can't remember the names of the characters. Jamie Gordon or something. That's the father, the stepdaughter. I couldn't tell you. Maybe they're down here. Yes, Jeremy Scott Gordon. And blah 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 blah. No, the daughter's name doesn't appear to be on here. Unless it's Victoria May, but I don't think it is. It might be. It's surprising, but you know how I am. I'm terrible with people's names. But Jamie Scott Gordon, that's the big name. So I guess he's there. He's the stepfather. And he's some sort of antiques guy. He's the antiques aficionado. He certifies whether something's antique or not. I don't fucking know. He gets commissioned by some strange dude to stay in this Victorian mansion to authenticate a relic that they found in the basement, which survived since the colonial times. And they tell a story about a general or something or other who had a daughter whom he treated and called a princess, and he commissioned a doll/automaton to be made in her likeness to immortalize his beloved daughter's visage. And as you can see, they try to make it so that the porcelain or whatever looks very, very lifelike. But, you know, it's actually just some person sitting in a chair. It's not actually a doll. They probably couldn't get a good prop like that. But props to the lady they got to sit in the chair the whole time acting like a doll, just staying still and all that stuff. Props to that actress. She did a really good job. Props to the stepfather. He did a really good job. Jamie Scott Gordon. Props to him. The daughter, I'm a little bit on the fence about, but we'll get to that in a moment. So the two of them are staying at this house, learning about the doll and how she was commissioned, how she was made, the story behind the commissioned person, and then you learn about an affair between the guy who was making the doll and the princess the general's daughter. They're having an affair, and he was swindling the general into thinking, oh, I made the perfect automaton. She acts and looks all blah 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 blah, and she moves about and all that stuff, when really it was just the daughter dressing as her automaton doll replicate or whatever. And yeah, they were doing all that stuff to con all the people into thinking, oh, he created the ultimate whatever super high-tech crap, and this is colonial times and all that blah blah blah, so he wants to be paid a lot of money and all that stuff. He's swindling and blah blah blah. Naturally, this stuff gets found out. The general finds out that the art dude is sleeping with his daughter, or trying to anyway. So he has them both killed. The daughter's lover, the art guy, he dies in some off-screen manner. Who fucking knows? They do emphasize how the daughter dies, though. She basically has her tongue cut out. Her mouth is gagged. She cannot make any noise, and she is encased in the porcelain replicate of herself. She's basically encased, mummified in a copy of her own self, and is entombed in the general's basement. That's pretty sick, if you ask me. And then they talk about how there's a curse surrounding the doll, and how people go mad hanging around her, and they start to become very attracted to the doll, and then they start doing crazy crap, and all that spooky horror story stuff happens. Well, that kind of happens, but it doesn't really get explained. I guess the art dude commissioned deal with devil to make the doll, but we learned he was actually a con, and it was actually the daughter dressing up as the doll to do all the dances and crap, and you start to find out, you start to question what's actually going on here. Is the doll is there a curse or not? That's what Jamie Scott Gordon is trying to figure out. And as the days go on, the daughter starts to act a little bit weird. She seems to have feelings for her stepfather. Feelings. You have to understand what I'm talking about there. Feelings, not familial feelings. Feelings. You know, that type of uncomfortable stuff you see in the adult stuff. Yeah, that's the type of feelings that she starts to feel towards her stepfather. And the stepfather is a little bit perturbed by this. So he's saying, stop doing that. That's uncomfortable. And the daughter's like, oh, don't you like me? And blah blah blah, and it's just it gets weird in certain places, and the way that this actress, the way she looks off into space, she's got a faint little smile on. Looks like she's on something half the time. She's on screen during the first half of the film. She looks like she's on something. I don't know if that's part of the doll's curse taking effect over her. I don't know, but there's something going on there, clearly. So as time goes on, the stepfather, Jamie Scott Gordon, starts to get affected by the curse as well. He starts to think that the doll in the basement is moving. And how this doll in the basement survived since colonial times and is in pristine condition with no clothing decay, nothing like that. No, it is completely preserved. How that could happen when the owner of this estate has mentioned more than once that this mansion has been burned down and rebuilt multiple times. It was just the basement that has been left untouched. But this is clearly about 200 to 300 years that has passed, and the doll does not show any signs of wear and tear. Clearly, I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for that. And the film doesn't really have an answer for that. Maybe it's the curse. Maybe it is the curse, and the curse is starting to take fold, because during the second half of the film, there is some spoopy stuff that goes on. Maybe it is the curse, and they're just making them hallucinate into thinking that the doll is in pristine condition, when actually it does look like a little decrepit 200-year-old antique. You never know. They don't tell you. So as the film goes on, things get creepier and creepier. It doesn't really get scary. But then again, knowing me, I'm desensitized to all this stuff. The only things that jump me are jump scares, because they're startling you. They don't scare you, they just startle you. There's not too many of those in here either. But even the jump scares are starting to become desensitized. I'm starting to become desensitized too. And they stop doing anything to me either. So this isn't really a scary film, in the sense that it's, boom, spooky, and all that stuff. But the second half of the film, after they discover the story behind the doll, and how the princess, the general's daughter, was encased in the porcelain doll, how her body was sealed inside of like a mummification, all that stuff, live mummification. After you learn that story, things start to take a real shift. Her father, the Jamie Scott Gordon, the stepfather, starts seeing the general's daughter's father, spook, the specter, the ghost, who knows what, starts following him, haunting him, and even in certain cases possessing him, so that he can do things to the stepdaughter. It is clearly shown that that is the general right there. It's clearly shown that the general has amorous feelings towards his daughter, and he covets the daughter. It's already strange how he would want to commission a lifelike replicate of his daughter's to immortalize herself, and it's already weird that he would want that to begin with. But hey, movie, whatever you want to do, but he possesses Jamie Scott Gordon into doing strange, amorous things to the stepdaughter. But Jamie Scott Gordon fights against that, and says, "No, I'm not going to do that. That's a little bit too much. I'm gonna fight this possession and get away from that." And it's against what the curse wants, clearly. And so after he fights the possession, things start to get stranger and stranger. And he tells the daughter to escape, to run outside, but then the general captures her, and they start to recreate the scene showing what happened to the daughter, the general's daughter. The general's ghost is going to do that to Jamie Scott Gordon's stepdaughter, and things start to get spooky and spooky. Blah. But then Jamie Scott Gordon says, "Take me instead," to the doll. He starts talking to the doll and says, "Take me instead, let her go." So I guess she feels moved by that. How he has no remorse feelings towards his stepdaughter, even though the stepdaughter clearly has remorse feelings towards him. But maybe that's part of the curse. We never find that out. At least I never found that out. So he satisfies the curse, and the curse lets the daughter go. She can escape the house. And he has to stay inside the house, and we don't know what happens to him after that. The movie just ends with the stepdaughter freed from the curse to escape the house. She doesn't even take the car. I guess Jamie Scott Gordon left the keys in his pocket. So she can't drive the car, so she has to walk away from the house, and the film ends with her walking away from the house. So that was The Devil's Machine. I actually remember more of this plot than, say, Day of the Living Dead. That's clear for sure. I remember more of this plot than Blue Call. I remember more of this. No, I might remember Followed a little bit better. I don't think this is as good as Followed was, but I definitely think it's better, way better than Blue Call and Day of the Living Dead. I think it's better than both of those. I would say that this is $1 that didn't beat me. I say this beat the dollar. This is worth more than $1 in regards to my entertainment value for the price of $1 to which it was procured. So I'd say this was a good experience. At least for me. You might find a different experience. And I don't know how to end these things yet again. Be imaginative, everybody.